Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Piranha Motorsports, and this episode we're going to be working on Mangdup again, but it's got a secret reason why we are. So, what are we doing? Well, those of you that follow along with the channel, or you're following along specifically for Mangdup footage or content, will know that when we went to Burnout Blitz at the end of 2024, so the last time we took this car out on the pad, we actually split the transmission cooler line going into the transmission cooler, and it ran a lot of oil out of the gearbox. So we did that on the qualifying skid. We topped up the oil, we fixed the leak, everything seemed good. It finished the skid strong. We got second, we got runner up, which was awesome. But when we pulled off the pad, there is a unusual noise coming from deep within the engine bay. Car seems to be running perfectly fine. Doesn't seem to have any issues. It still has full oil pressure. There's no knocking, there's no nothing like that, but it's like a whirring noise or some sort. It's a bit hard. I've tried to record it, but you can't hear it. So we actually think we did a little bit of damage to the gearbox. Now the gearbox in the car is a 4L60E that's been checked over, manualized Corvette servo and a stage 2 shift kit on a 220,000 kilometer box, and it's now done well over 100 skids at 6,800 RPM. So if you treat your gearbox right, even a 4L60 lasts at high RPM and a heap of abuse. So this, if it's an issue with the gearbox, it's genuinely because of a transcooler line and nothing to do with the apparent slippage that the 4L60s have. So we're going to loosen off the torque converter and hopefully slide the torque converter back inside the bell housing enough to be able to start the engine and double check to make sure that the noise is coming from the gearbox and not engine. So that's our first port of call. So we're going to get underneath there and drop some torque converter bolts out and see what we find when we kick it in the guts and see what the noise is. We'll come back when that happens. Okay, moment of truth. We've been underneath taking the torque converter bolts out, slip the torque converter back. It's time to fire it up, and she's a bit messy under there. Well, it answered one question, whether it is or isn't the gearbox, and it would seem that it's not the gearbox. So there is something inside the engine making a somewhat squeaking noise. It still has good oil pressure, still runs fine, revs fine, everything seems fine. But it's, I'm kind of over sending a car just for the sake of it and it blowing up, so not what we want to do. I mean, we were talking about having to take the gearbox out anyway, which looks like we don't have to. So maybe we just drop the oil on the gearbox and service it, check it over, since it has been hot. Well, hot's an understatement. Dry. Check that out anyway, but leave the gearbox in situ. Instead of taking the gearbox out, we out with the motor, have it up on the engine stand, and hopefully, I mean, that'll only take us a couple of hours, so it's not really that much difference between taking the motor out and taking the gearbox out time-wise, because this thing's fairly simplified, being a burnout car, so it's quite quick to get the motor out, and we've done it 55,000 times, so chance to be able to give the whole engine bay a bit of a degrease and a clean out too, because it is covered in red transmission fluid from our side of breakfast. A good gearbox service, and check out why this motor's making this noise. Now, we have gone through rocker clearances, valve springs, we have taken the pulley, the drive serpentine belt off, so it's not a water pump or a squeaking pulley on the front, or an alternator, or a harmonic making a noise. Or it could be a harmonic. Could it be a harmonic? Maybe it's a harmonic.
It seems to be coming from the back.
Yeah, it does. It seems to be coming from the back. So we're just going to bite the bullet.
Could be a flexi plate or something like that.
Yeah, we're going to bite the bullet and reef the motor. It's only a couple of hours work. Hopefully it's a simple fix and we can drop the motor back in. Now, I've got work tomorrow, which is Tuesday. The reason why we're doing this is on Saturday. I'll let you in on a little bit more of that as we get on with the video, and depending on how we go. But all things going well, it only takes a couple of hours to get it out. If it's a simple fix, we've got plenty of bits and pieces here. We can fix it and perhaps drop it back in Thursday, Friday, and we're still good for Saturday. But we don't like to rush these things, because we have a tendency of, every time we rush and push, we have breakages. So we take it easy, we see how it goes, and we go from there. So it'll be a couple of days for us, but you will be coming up real soon. So yeah, kind of about now. Well, not exactly the way we planned this video to go, but it doesn't mean that the plans as to why we were doing it is going to stop. It's just going to change a little direction, and I think you might like the reason why. So let's go and have a look, shall we? And that's right, we're going to take in Honor out instead of Mangdup. So the real reason why we're doing all of this and getting a car ready for something that is something small, but it's going to be really big to me. And my daughter is now 14, and most of you will know that 14 years of age on a double ASA event means that you can come passenger. So I'm taking my daughter out for the first time in one of my cars, and she gets chucked in the hot seat. I'd like to be able to get her to drive one day soon, but of course the confidence has got to come first. So we're going to go out in the car first, get her a little bit adjusted. If she likes it, we might even build her a car for her own self and for my other daughters when they get to that age too. So Chloe, we're going to have a fun time. I think you might be watching this video, but Pauline sits in the passenger seat sometimes. So does Pop. This time it's going to be you. So we're going to have a great time this weekend at the Speedway here locally at Morawa. We're just going to do a skid, go and have some fun, put the car back on the trailer and come home. Then we're going to get stuck into some other stuff. So you'll see that on next week's episode of Piranha Motorsports. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment and all that other sort of stuff, because there's heaps more stuff coming your way. And we'll see you next time.